Welcome to RHA Insights Podcast, partnered with the London Economic Development Corporation, the lead economic development agency for London, Ontario. Go to ledc.com for more information.
All right, welcome everybody to the inaugural episode of the RHA Insights. We want to take an opportunity to really introduce why we're doing this and what the podcast is about. And I'm joined today by Brian and Joe. We're going to take a couple of minutes to introduce ourselves for those that aren't familiar with the RHA and our backgrounds, and then we'll jump into why we're doing the podcast. So first up, I'm going to ask Brian Foster a couple of minutes to introduce yourself and why you're doing the RHA and ultimately the RHA Insights podcast.
Yeah, thanks, David. Brian Foster, one of the co-founders here at RH Accelerator. My background has really been in enterprise software. We had a company, actually two companies that built software for large university and college recreational facilities. Was fortunate enough to sell both of those companies, one in the early 2000s and then the most recently back in 2017 to a great company here in Canada called Constellation Software. Yeah, several years ago, Joe, Dave, and Brian got together and recognized that there was a gap in the tech ecosystem that we feel that we could address with our experience and our background. And really enjoy working with founders. And one of the reasons why I think the RHA Insights podcast that we're doing is interesting is that I like to refer to them as wisdom nuggets. So things that you've experienced in your past that really could help and assist, people that we're working with and just people out there on the RHA online community and beyond that. So it's a really exciting opportunity for us.
Awesome. Joe?
Yeah, so welcome everybody. We're excited to be sharing some of our wisdom nuggets, as Brian says. My background, started a couple of tech companies, worked in the agriculture and food industry in my career, and wanted to work with early stage innovative companies to help them, grow and be successful. Same as Brian and Dave, and excited about the potential and opportunities going forward. There's so much innovation coming to the market. My particular strength and area of expertise is in the agriculture and food space, and so we've got a bit of a vertical going there and working with several companies in that sector. So we'll be interviewing special guests, trying to share experiences and hopefully help founders and the teams of early stage companies to move forward more successfully. So looking forward to this.
Awesome. And thanks, Joe. I'm David Billson, also one of the co-founders of the RH Accelerator. My background is in digital marketing, and if you go back way far enough, software development. I started my career as a software developer, so I understand both the technology and the marketing side, which sometimes those two sides in an organization are in conflict. So I speak both languages and often help those organizations to bridge those two gaps. For me, the RHA Insights is about learning from other founders. One of the books that I often recommend to new founders is The Hard Thing About Hard Things by Ben Horowitz. And I really found that book almost therapeutic in the sense of experiencing another founder's journey through both success and failure and back again. And his candid dialogue around what happened with his business and his experience. And I really think there's opportunities for founders to learn that they're not alone in some of the challenges that they face. And as Brian said, the wisdom nuggets to maybe if you do encounter a challenge or a similar enough challenge, you can use some of that knowledge to apply to your current challenges. So really exciting. We've recorded a few of these already, and there's been lots of wisdom shared from the different founders. So we're excited to bring these ideas forward. Just as a sample of one of the questions that we ask through the RHA Insights, I'm going to put Brian and Joe on the spot here. When we look at the RH Accelerator, we ask our founders or the people that we interview on these RH Insights, what drives you and what's your motivation? So I'll ask Brian, maybe first, what drives you with the RHA? What's the motivation for founding this organization?
That's a good question. It's always easier to be the person asking the question than answering it. Obviously I've had some time to reflect over the last almost 3 years now that we've been doing this. And I think the part that, I really enjoy the most is kind of walking along the journey with the founders. Because, early on in the life of a startup, say, you're very focused just on sales or just on development, and kind of everything in between. You don't have the time to do it. You don't know what to do. You don't have the resources to do it. And I really enjoy kind of picking apart some of those individual little things with the founders and kind of working with them to try to, at least put a plan in place. Sometimes you can't always solve it, but at least you put a plan in place. So I think that kind of coaching style of interaction that I have with a lot of the founders that I work with are really what gives me the motivation. It kind of lifts me up, and I really enjoy that part of it, and ultimately to share the experiences that I've had.
Joe, same question for you.
Yeah, I'm like you guys. I love working with founders, helping them grow their business, solving the challenges the day to day. And in that context, what also motivates me is in our sector, in the agriculture and food sector, I know farmers need innovative new products and services. So working with the founders to bring those solutions to, their farming or in the agribusiness sector. If we create value, I know we're able to monetize it and create companies and do well. And if we do that well, is the final result, which also is motivating for me and a lot of the ag and food founders, is you're helping feed the world in a small way. So it's pretty easy to get motivated in the morning when you have that big why. And we're huge fans of Simon Sinek, so encourage people to read the book and try to develop their why, because that will help fuel you through the tough times, the grinding. And if you're deciding you want to be a founder, there are going to be tough times because nothing's certain. Everything seems to be against you, and you've got to grind and fight through the inertia and the hard stuff. And so, having a solid why will help you through those tough times and, accept the results that you achieve. So we'll try to help you be more successful, improve your probability of success. But you've got the heavy lifting if you're thinking you want to be an entrepreneur.
And then with the RHA Insights specifically, I'm going to have Joe answer this one first, because at the risk of dating this podcast, Clubhouse is relatively new, and we're seeing sort of an increase in audio and long-form dialogue. Why do you think the podcast format works so well for this type of knowledge, information exchange?
Yeah, I think content is always been king on whatever media, right? So we've learned how, thanks to Michael and Noah and the rest of the team, to push these things out. It forces collisions, creates a nice library of content that's very specialized in, helping founders and helping early stage companies. So, and you can do it relatively inexpensively. So the technology's risen up to meet, the opportunity. And with COVID, this is a way for us to, still force those collisions, even though we're not doing it face to face anymore, and share them with the greater community.
Brian, do you have anything you want to add?
Well, I like the format because I find it's a little bit more, it's less scripted and a little bit more genuine. And I find that you can go down some interesting, for lack of a better term, rabbit holes, and you can uncover some more, information. And I enjoy listening, to them and participating in them. I think it uncovers some really interesting things.
Yeah, what I found, in traditional social media or, short form social media, somebody can express an idea that you can initially take as either maybe an offensive, like that viewpoint, but then when they have the opportunity to explore it, or you can probe it in a long form discussion, you start to see some of the rationale for how that decision was formed. So even if you disagree with the ultimate decision or the position that the person's taking, you get a better perspective of why they're taking that position. And I think it's a better format to kind of help understand the unique quirks that kind of make us humans, and ultimately in the founders realm, what drives us as founders. So really excited to see what the RHA Insights brings us. As I said, we have a few already in the can, and they've been great interviews. So anything else you guys want to add before we close out?
Nope. Just visit us at rhaccelerator.com.
Yeah, I think we'll have a nice variety and mix of individuals on the Insights. I think some people who have had some tremendous success and some are a little newer to the game. So I think it's going to be a really nice mix.
Maybe one day we can have an actual studio so that we don't have a cat meowing in the background as we're trying to close out. So,
hey, it's genuine.
Yep, we're real. All right,
our first guest.
Thanks, Ryan and Joe, for joining me to kick this off. We're excited to see where this goes.
Go to rhaccelerator.com for our full library, other podcasts, and to join us on RHA Online.